Welcome to my Conundrum channel. We are here to tell a real-life story and to put ourselves in their shoes and have a reflection of their situation. He first saw her through a veil of white lace. His brother's bride, radiant, innocent. A tremor of something unfamiliar, unsettling ran through him. It wasn't simply admiration for her beauty, but a pull, a magnetic force that whispered of forbidden desires. He, a man who prided himself on his loyalty, his unwavering moral compass, felt an unfamiliar heat rise within him. Her laughter, her scent, the way her eyes sparkled with unspoken longing, they were an intoxicating elixir he couldn't resist. In that moment, as their eyes met across the crowded room, a seed of transgression was sown. He tried to convince himself it was a fleeting infatuation, a momentary lapse in judgment. He was, after all, a man of reason, of commitment. Yet, every stolen glance, every accidental touch, fueled the flames of desire. The line between right and wrong blurred, the weight of his secret growing heavier with each passing day. The woman he vowed to love and cherish, his wife, seemed to fade into the background, a pale imitation of the vibrant creature who now consumed his every thought. The guilt was a constant companion, a shadow lurking in the corners of his mind. He loved his brother, a bond forged in childhood, unbreakable, he thought. But this love, this forbidden fruit, it chipped away at his resolve, his sense of self. The man he was in the light of day, the dutiful husband, the loving brother, felt like a charade. He wore a mask of normalcy, but beneath the surface, a storm raged. His interactions with his wife became strained, every word, every touch laced with a guilt he couldn't conceal. He withdrew into himself, seeking solace in the depths of his forbidden desire. The woman, his sister-in-law, mirrored his torment. Her eyes, once filled with youthful joy, now held a flicker of fear, a longing that mirrored his own. Their stolen moments, clandestine encounters shrouded in secrecy, became their sanctuary, a world where societal norms faded away, and only their forbidden love remained. Their encounters were a heady mix of fear and exhilaration. A stolen glance across the dinner table, a brush of hands while reaching for the same book, a whispered conversation in the dead of night. Each encounter fueled their desire, their bodies and souls intertwining in a dance of forbidden longing. The guilt remained, a bitter aftertaste to their stolen kisses, but it was quickly eclipsed by the overwhelming need to be together. Their lovemaking was a desperate attempt to outrun the truth, to lose themselves in a world where only they existed. It was raw, primal, fueled by the knowledge that their time together was stolen, precious. In those moments, they were not brother-in-law and sister-in-law, but two souls bound by a love that defied definition, a love that threatened to consume them both. Their affair became a dangerous addiction, each stolen moment a hit that left them craving more, the inevitable crash looming ever closer. He found himself torn between two worlds, two loves. On one hand was his wife, a woman he had vowed to love and cherish, a woman who represented stability, societal acceptance. On the other was the forbidden fruit, the woman who ignited a fire in his soul he never knew existed. His heart ached with the impossible task of reconciling these two conflicting emotions. The weight of his secret began to crush him. Sleep became elusive, haunted by nightmares of discovery, of his carefully constructed world crumbling around him. He saw the pain in his wife's eyes, the confusion, the unspoken questions she was too afraid to ask. And yet he couldn't bring himself to confess, to shatter her world and risk losing the one person who had been his constant, his anchor. He was adrift in a sea of his own making, the shores of morality fading into the distance. Cracks in the facade, deception takes its toll. The strain of living a double life began to show. His once easy smile became forced, his eyes holding a perpetual shadow of guilt and exhaustion. His wife, perceptive and loving, noticed the change in him. Their conversations became strained, filled with silences that spoke volumes. She felt him slipping away, the distance between them widening with each passing day. His brother, oblivious to the betrayal, remained cheerfully unaware, his trust in his brother and his wife absolute. The irony of their laughter, their shared jokes, was a constant reminder of his transgression. He felt like a fraud, a puppet master manipulating those around him while his own world threatened to implode. The fear of discovery became a constant companion, a knot of anxiety that tightened its grip with each passing day. Whispers of truth. The walls begin to crumble. Secrets like cracks in a dam rarely remained contained. Whispers of his infidelity began to surface, subtle at first, easily dismissed. But the truth, like water, had a way of seeping through even the smallest fissures. He noticed the knowing glances, the hushed conversations that ceased when he entered the room. The walls of his carefully constructed facade were crumbling, and he felt powerless to stop it. The woman, his forbidden love, felt it too. The fear in her eyes intensified, mirroring his own. They had built their love on a foundation of secrecy and deceit, and now the winds of truth threatened to tear it all down. The stolen moments, once filled with passion and longing, became tainted with anxiety, the constant fear of exposure casting a pall over their forbidden tryst. The weight of their secret, once shared, now threatened to crush them both. The truth, like a tidal wave, crashed down, shattering the fragile peace they had so carefully constructed. The revelation of his betrayal ripped through the family like a hurricane, leaving devastation in its wake. His wife, her heart broken, her trust shattered, recoiled as if from a stranger. The pain in her eyes was a mirror reflecting his own self-loathing. His brother, his face contorted in a mask of rage and betrayal, felt the full force of his duplicity. The bond they had shared since childhood, the unbreakable link, snapped, leaving behind raw wounds that might never heal. The family, once a haven of love and support, became a battleground of accusations, recriminations, and unbearable grief. The fallout was swift and brutal, leaving no one unscathed. In the wreckage of the storm, he stood alone, stripped bare of his lies and deceptions. The woman he loved, his forbidden fruit, was gone, their secret love a casualty of the devastation. He had lost his wife, his brother, his family, his place in the world. The guilt and remorse were suffocating, threatening to drown him in their depths. The road ahead was long and uncertain, paved with the jagged shards of his past mistakes. He knew that forgiveness, from others and from himself, would be a long and arduous journey. But amidst the wreckage, a glimmer of hope emerged. The pain of his loss, the depth of his remorse, forced him to confront his demons, to acknowledge the flaws that had led him down this destructive path. Time, the great healer, began to work its magic. The raw wounds of betrayal slowly began to scab over, leaving behind scars, a permanent reminder of his transgression. He dedicated himself to atoning for his sins, seeking solace in therapy, in the quiet contemplation of his actions. He knew he could never erase the pain he had caused, but he could strive to become a better man, to honor the love he had so carelessly discarded. His wife, her strength and resilience astounding him, had moved on, rebuilding her life with a quiet dignity that filled him with both admiration and regret. His brother, the pain still evident in his eyes, maintained a wary distance, the possibility of reconciliation a distant hope. He knew that forgiveness, if it came at all, would be a gift, freely given, not something he could demand or expect. He emerged from the wreckage of his past, a changed man, humbled by his mistakes, his heart scarred but not broken. He carried the weight of his actions, the knowledge that some wounds never truly heal. He had lost his family as he knew it, but in its place, he discovered a deeper understanding of love, of loyalty, of the fragility of human connection. He learned that love, in its purest form, was not about possession or control, but about respect, honesty, and unwavering commitment. He discovered that family was not defined solely by blood ties, but by the bonds of love, forgiveness, and shared history. He embraced the future, uncertain as it may be, with a newfound appreciation for the preciousness of life, the importance of integrity, and the transformative power of forgiveness.